Okay, so hey there everyone. Welcome back to another live stream, I guess. So today we'll be streaming IGCSE Biology 0610, and we'll be looking at reproduction in plants. So let's get started. What is reproduction? Reproduction is basically the process by which organisms replicate themselves or make new ones of their own kind. Just remember, it's the process by which organisms make new ones of their own kind. Now, reproduction is of two types. Number one, asexual reproduction, and number two, sexual reproduction. Asexual, as the name suggests, means that it only involves one parent or a single parent. Sexual reproduction, on the other hand, it involves two parents. We'll look into this further as we move into this stream. So, in reproduction, each new organism obtains a set of chromosomes from its parents or a parent. Now, why from its parent or parents? Because in as we said before, asexual reproduction is reproduction from only one parent. That's why parent or parents. So this one is sexual reproduction. This one is asexual reproduction. So yes, so the organism obtains a set of chromosomes. Now, what are chromosomes? Chromosomes are long threads of DNA found in the nucleus of the cell, and they contain a set of instructions known as genes. Genes are what? Genes are found on the DNA, which code for a specific protein and all that. So we'll look into the first type of reproduction, asexual reproduction. Now, asexual reproduction involves just one parent. Some of the parent cells divide to produce new cells that contain exactly the same genes as the parent cell. So now the key word here is that the offspring contains the same genes as the parent cell. Now, if that is the case, that means that the offspring and the parent cell will be genetically identical because they have the same genes, right? They grow into new organisms which are all genetically identical to each other and to their single parent. So if I have a cell like this, okay, this is not exactly a cell, but like let's assume this is a cell. This will divide to form, let's say, this and this. Now, if this is genetically identical to this is genetically identical to this, that means that these two are also genetically identical to each other. Um, from okay, so now we have examples where asexual reproduction happens. So it happens in bacteria through binary fission. Then we have fungi. They also reproduce by binary fission. And then we have potatoes. Yeah, sorry. And then we also have potatoes that can reproduce through asexual reproduction. I'm not going to go into details of this because it's not really that important. You just need tubers, then these are the tubers, okay? And then just you don't need to know the exact details, okay? Uh, okay, so we also have asexual reproduction in Hydra. This is Hydra, a tiny animal called Hydra which lives in fresh water and is related to sea anemones. Reproduces. Population can be increased rapidly when conditions are right. Yes, you just require one single parent. So that single parent can, if the conditions are right, can increase the population rapidly whenever they want. Can exploit suitable environment quickly, more time and energy efficient because it's only one parent. You don't need to go looking for another parent, so it's more time saving and energy efficient. Reproduction is completed much faster. Yeah, the same here, only one parent required, that's why. Disadvantages, however, limited genetic variation. If the offspring and parent are going to be genetically identical to each other, that will limit the genetic variation in the population. Population is vulnerable to changes in condition and may only be suited for one habitat. Because the genes are the same, that means that the offspring and the parent and the offspring of the offsprings, not offspring, sorry, would all be adapted to only one habitat. Since there is no genetic variation, they won't really adapt to different environments. Then disease is likely to affect the variation. Then we move on to the second type of sexual reproduction. No, second type of reproduction, which is sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction is a process involving the fusion of the nuclei of two gametes, which are the sex cell and the zygote. Not zygote, sorry, egg. My bad. Which form the zygote and the production of offspring, which are genetically different from each other. That is the key difference between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction as well. In asexual, the offsprings are genetically identical. In sexual, the offsprings are genetically different. Now, fertilization is the process of the fusion of gamete nuclei. So let me just clear the screen. So the fusion of gamete nuclei, which is the male gamete and the female gamete. So the nuclei of this gamete and this gamete coming together to fuse this fertilization. Nuclei of gametes are haploid, and that now haploid means that for humans at least, whereas the diploid means they have two complete set of chromosomes. So in humans, in haploid, and in diploid we have 46, which is why, so this is one set. When we multiply this by 2, so we actually just have 23 chromosomes. The other 23 are just the copies of these 23. Then the zygote contains chromosomes from both its parents, so it's 50-50, 50 from the mom, 50 from the dad. It can have any combinations of these genes, so it's not predictable that my weight from my mom. No, it's very random and it's unpredictable. Sexual reproduction therefore produces offspring that are genetically different from their parents and also from each other, so from their siblings and all. So this is how sexual reproduction works. Okay, we have the male body cell, which is 46, which means this is a diploid. We have female body cell, thus 46. This means that it's also a diploid. Then the male becomes, we get our sperm, which is 23, and the egg also, which is 23. Now this process is called meiosis, which you learn in this chapter or the next chapter or the next video that I'll make. This chapter is called meiosis. Okay, and this two coming together to form this diploid zygote is called fertilization. Okay. Then in sexual reproduction, most organisms that reproduce sexually, there are two types of gametes, female gametes and the male gametes. Female gametes tend to be relatively large and they do not move. So these are the female gametes, is basically the egg. Yeah, so in plants, the female gamete is a nucleus inside the ovule. It's called the egg, exactly. Male gametes are usually smaller and they can't move. So it's usually the male gamete that does the locomotion or the movement. In plants, they are called pollen grains, but in humans or animals, they are called sperms. Okay. So in humans, yeah, so this is where the diploid and haploid comes in. In humans, there are two sets of chromosomes in each cell. One of these sets comes from the father and one from the mother. Each set contains 23 chromosomes, so there are 46 in total. A cell or a nucleus that contains two complete set of chromosomes is called diploid, as I said. But human egg and sperm cells only have 23 chromosomes. Where's highlighter? Why is this? It is only an egg and a sperm that have 23 chromosomes. Please note that every other cell is diploid. Okay, so the other cells of the body are called somatic cells. So all cells except egg and sperm cells